Good day, everyone, especially to our very own instructor, Mr. Rectolete. So, good day. I am Marjorie G.ZERNA. I'm going to discuss the chapter 5, and this is the continuation of the report of previous reporter. So, first is the credit card schemers. Credit card schemers are used to read details in plastic cards contained in the magnetic strip. So, as you can see, the picture on the screen, there is a credit card and the credit card schemers. So, the magnetic strip is the black one nga naa sa kanang sa credit card. Sa likod sa imong credit card mo na siya magnetic strip. And then the magnetic schemers is kaning black nga tapad sa credit card. So mo ni siya mo red on the details in the plastic cards contain sa magnetic strip nga naa sa credit card. And then the potential evidence. Card holder information contained on the tracks of the magnetic stripes includes card expiration dates. So as you can see on the screen that there is a card expiration date, the user's address, the credit card numbers, and the user's name. And the digital watches. So as I observed that there are lots of individuals that uses the digital watches. So digital watches is nang naka-observe ko nga daghan kay nagamit. So pwede dito sila nga mo gani mo tawag mo mo gamit og messenger. So first, let us define what is the digital watches. So many forms of digital watches are available that can serve as pagers for digital message storage. Additional information can be kept, such as address books, calendars for meetings, emails, and notes. Some also have the capacity to synchronize information with computers, and also this will be a possible evidence. So, kani siya is pwede ni siya mo stored o mga address books, the calendars for meetings, emails, and notes. So as I've said a while ago nga, nakinobserbahan nga, gamiton na instead of phone, ang ilang gamiton is ilang nga digital watches. And also, this will be a possible evidence. Why is it nga ang digital watches is kanang posible man siya nga evidence? It's because kanang mura mo gani siya o ganing the computer nga pwede na siya mo store yung mga information. So, those information that is being stored is pwede siya nga kanang gamito nimo if ever na kay mga nabantayan nga dili mao, and then kani siya nga digital watches will be the possible evidence. Those documents nga naa didto will be the possible evidence. Next is the facsimile machines. So I know that everyone here is very familiar with the facsimile machines, as you can see on the picture of the screen. So pre-programmed phone numbers and the history of sent and received documents can be stored by facsimile machines. So katong mga pre-programmed phone numbers o katong mga history na nga mga gipang send o sa mga na-receive nila can be stored in the facsimile machine. So, ingon ana ka nindot ang facsimile machines kay bisag dugay na nga na sent, dugay na nga na receive nimo nga documents can be stored. Pwede siya ma-stored in the facsimile machines. In addition, some contain memory that allows scanning and sending multiple page a later faxes at time, as well as enabling incoming faxes to be stored in memory and printed later. Some can store incoming and outgoing faxes on hundreds of pages. So, kani siya is very ang iyang is dako kayo siya and very flexible siya nga kanang machine. It's because pwede siya kanang ma-store niya tong mga history of sent and received nga mga documents. That is why isa siya sa mga potential evidence it's because if ever na i-trace nga documents nga, for example, na i-trace nga documents and then na-send ito siya sa facsimile machine. So, kato siya nga documents is bisag dugen to siya, history na to siya nga na sent or na receive ba, it can be kuan ma-retrieve kay na stored naman siya within the Facsimile machines, and some contain memory kanin pud siya nga machine. Next is the potential evidence is the documents. Of course, the documents is pag may kang documents, all the information are there in there. Tanan nga mara nana siya dito tanan. The phone numbers gigamit sa another nga person po. Film cartridge. So, as you can see, mo siya film cartridge. Pwede siya nga mo kuan. Kaning kuan rin mo o kanang, as you can see na din nga picture nga or siya kanang camera nga kanang yellow one nga gatindog dira. Muna siya kanang film cartridge nga pwede nimo siya ibutang dira para ma-view nimo kung saan joy kanang nang nahitabo mo ra siya kanang mini CCTV. And then the send and receive log. The global positioning system. I know that everyone is very familiar in the GPS, especially those adventurous people katong ganan mo sa lag bisag asang wala katuto sa dalan, you can use the GPS. But ngano siyang naapil diri? Why is it? It's because if ever that locating locating sa particular nga person nga, for example gikawat imong phone, asa man if na-on mo nga location, it will be located, malocate ang kung asa ang nagkuha sa mong cellphone. So, let us define what is the GPS. Via destination information, waypoints, and routes, global positioning system may provide information on prior travel. Some store the prior destinations automatically and provide travel logs. So, the potential evidence of the GPS is the home. Syempre. Waypoint coordinates the previous destination. So, kung asa kagikan, asa yung mga previous destination, waypoint name, and the travel logs. So, here is the, as you can see, is na siya yung your car. Pag GPS received to satellite, to the ground station, to satellite, and then the GPS receiver. So, kani siya is one of the kanang okay po siya nga gamiton to locate the person. Try to open your phone, kuha ninyong location, na siya nakabutang dito, pwede nimo i-follow ang kana nga particular nga person. It's because if kana gani siya nga particular nga person na follow nimo, kabalo ka asa iyahang kanang previous destination, asa siya iyahang address. Una siya nakanindot sa global positioning system. Investigative tools and equipment. So the principle of the investigative tools and equipment is the special tools and equipment may be required to collect electronic evidence. Experience has known that improvement in the required tools and equipment can be determined by technological advances. To the policy, there should be access to the tools and equipment needed to register, delete, extract, bundle, and transport evidence. Next is the procedure. Preparations should made for the procurement and technologies required for the processing of the required tools and equipment decided by each aspect of the process. Documentation, selection, packaging, and transformation. So, in the preparation, it should be made in the procure. Kay dapat man jud siya in procedure, in documentation, sa selection nimo, sa packaging nimo, and the transportation. So, the toolkit. Departments should provide processing software for general crime scenes. Example given, the cameras, the notepads, sketchpads, evidence forms, crime scene tapes, markers. So, toolkit. So, there should be provided processing software if ever nang nasa mga general crime scenes. So, imong camera, notepad is very kuan, and then sketchpad nimo, evidence form, crime scene tape, and markers. Additional elements that may helpful at an electronic crime scene are as follow: documentation tools, cable tags, indelible felt tip markers, and stick-on labels. Stick-on labels. So, documentation tools. Nga siyang importante ang documentation tools. It's because dira man gud mo mabutang nimo. For example, kani siya nga evidence, butangan nimo siya tag diya. Unsala ni siya para ma-separate, para makita nimo, kani siya is kuan din ni siya diri. So kani siya diri ilain nato ni siya. It's kay na siya nakabutang didto nga tags. And then indelible fill tip marker. So unsalan may gamit sa mong cable tags, unsa may gamit sa mong stick-on labels kung dili mo sulatan. So dapat na siya nakasulat jud dito para ma-identify nimo. And then the disassembly and removal tools, a variety of non-magnetic sizes and types of is the flat blade and Phillips type screwdriver, the hex nut drivers, the needle nose pliers, the secure bit drivers, small tweezers, specialized screwdrivers, manufacturer specific example given, the compact and the Macintosh, and the standard pliers, the star type nut drivers, the wire cutters. So, nga naman ni siyang daghan kay siyang mga disassembly removal tools. It's because dili lang usa ang imuha nga kanang gamiton. Kay if kani siya nga disassemble tools is dili siya compatible sa imong gigamitan, sa imuhang disassemble pod nga. For example, the CPU. The CPU niya magamit ka og needle. No, it's not. Dili siya kuan. So that is why daghan siya kaayong mga disassemble tools. It's because daghan po kang gamitan ana niya. Each one of these has its kanang functions, purpose. So, next is the package and transport supply. So, mao ni siya gipanggamit sa mga packaging and transporting supply. So, the antistatic bag. So, the antistatic bag is, saan ni siya? Para storage, syempre. For example, yung mga cheap, mga gagmay, din siya butang. The antistatic bubble wrap. Ano siya kinahanglan pag antistatic bubble wrap? Remember that dealing in kanang mga electronic evidences is mo na sila pinaka-fragile, pinaka-dapat importante nga, dapat siya nga ma-stored correctly, dapat ampingan. And then the cable ties. Evidence bag. So, evidence bag, diri nibutang ang mga chips nimo, evidence tape, para ma-identify ug unsalan man ni siya. Kani unsalan din na diri o wala nimo na siya nabutang eh. So, the evidence might kanang pwede siya ma-contaminator sa panadiha. And then the packaging materials, avoid materials that can produce static electricity such as styrofoam or styrofoam peanuts. So, ang imuha dyan gamiton is katong mga dili siya kanang makaproduce og static electricity. So, mga packing tapes. The sturdy boxes of various sizes. Anong ingon nga various sizes man? It's because wala ta kabalo kung unsa lang mga electronic evidence ang imong makuha, so that is why various sizes siya. Okay, what if gamay kay imong gidala nga sturdy boxes and then ang imong evidence is dili maigo ato niya? So how can you preserve that particular evidence man? So dapat na siya mga kanang dili siya mao-jud og sizes. And ganang sturdy boxes man, it's because kani siya nga, as I've said a while ago nga, the electronic evidence is dili siya pwede nga kanang maalog gani gamay, dili na siya pwede. It's because ang importante kanang naa sa sulod, dili siya pwede nga maalog gamay, di siya pwede mo moist, inana siya ka importante. Ngun ana ka crucial or nana ka kuan ang pag preserved when it comes to transportation gani. When it comes to packaging, dapat maayo pagka-preserved. And the other items that should be included within the department toolkit are gloves, syempre. Lain po kayo, ikaw kay usa ka sa mga nagkuan og mga evidence, gather evidence, wala kay gloves. Dapat na kay gloves. It's first kuan jud siya. Hand tracked, the large rubber bands, and then the list of contact telephone numbers for assistance. Next is the magnifying glass. Ano may magnifying glass? What's the purpose of the magnifying glass? Unsa may mabuhat sa magnifying glass? Para makita ang mga katong mga gagmay nga mga chips, especially katong mga chips nga gagmay. So if ever dili siya kaayo kuan sa tuwa nga mata, so na nga time nga mogamit og magnifying glass, the printer paper, the seizure disc, and then the small flashlight. Small flashlight, if ever dili na siya kanang, for example, naka dito sa nag-investigate sa kanang dili kayo kuan ang light. So you must be kanang gamit ka og small flashlight. And then securing and evaluating the scene. Measures should be taken by the first respondents. So, di ba, as we all know nga, the first respondent mo dyan sila mag-cordon. So they should measure sila mo kuan ang mga respondent to ensure the safety of all individuals at the scene and to protect the integrity of all data, both conventional and electronic. So as I've said a while ago, nga sila mo cordon. As a first responder, it's your job nga i-cordon ang place to ensure the safety of all the individuals at the crime scene and protect the integrity of all the data. Dapat di sila makontaminate, dapat walay makasulod ng mga nga tao. All operations should comply with department policy and local laws. So, in the procedure, after securing the scene and all personnel on the scene, possible evidence, both traditional, physical, and electronic, should be visually detected by the first responder and determined whether perishable evidence remains. So, after securing the scenes, tanan nga personnel nga nasa scene, possible evidence, the physical evidence or the electronic, dapat visually detected na siya sa mga first responder. And determine na whether perishable evidence naara ba gyapon, nag-remain na ba gyapon. The first responder should determine and devise a search plan for the scene. First is secure and evaluate the scene. So, dapat ilang i-secure, cordon the scene, evaluate ilang scene. Follow the jurisdictional policy to safeguard the crime scene. This will require ensuring that all individuals from the immediate area from which evidence is to be obtained are excluded. At this stage in the investigation, do not alter the state of any electronic system. If it is off, leave it off. If it is on, keep it on. So, usa naman siya nga. Kaning pasabot ani niya. So, dapat, if ikaw nga first responder, ang imuha nga trabaho is ensure that the individuals from the immediate area from which evidence to be obtained are excluded. At ani nga stage of investigation, dili siya pwede ma-alter ang any state of the electronic system. If it is off, leave it off. If it is on, keep it on. So, for example, naka dito. So, if that particular evidence is kanang imo na siya nga i-secure, dili na siya pwede makuan sa mga laing nga tao. So, dapat imo na siyang i-secure. Next is secure perishable records. Physically and electronically perishable. Data can be found in pagers, caller ID boxes, electronic organizers, mobile phones, and other similar items. This first responder should always bear in mind that any computer containing perishable data should be protected, recorded, and photographed immediately. So, pag mo tayo electronics, so, nanay computers. So, those data nga nakita nimo dito, dapat protected siya from ID boxes, electronic organizers, mobile phones, and other items unsalan pa na diha. The first responders should always bear in their mind that any computer containing perishable data dapat protected siya, recorded nimo, photograph immediately. And then, dapat siya nga, naka-record na siya, protected, recorded na nimo, photograph din yung gipicturean din na nimo. Identify device attached telephone lines, such as a caller in ID boxes and modems, log, disconnect, and mark each telephone line from the wall instead of the device. So, if na siya ka ng mga, i-identify nimo ang device nga natin siya sa telephone lines, makita man na nimo dito. So, ng those experts, makita na nila such as the caller ID number sa modems, and then, kanang mga log, kinsa mga nanawag. So, for example, ganun sa mga call logs, disconnect and mark each telephone line as from the wall instead of the device where feasible. There may also be other communication lines present for LAN or internet connections. Contact the required personnel agency on all situations. Conduct preliminary interviews. Separate and identify all persons. So, separate and identify all the persons. So, witness, the subjects or others at the crime scene, at the scene, and record the location and time of entry. So, i-record nimo ang location ug kanusaman time of entry. Consistent with departmental policy and applicable law, obtain from these individuals information such as owners and the users of electronic device found at the scene, as well as the passwords, usernames, and internet service provider. So, dapat na dito ang those electronic devices that is being found at the crime scene is dapat nakuha ng passwords, usernames, internet service provider, purpose of the system, any unique security schemes or destructive devices, any off-site data storage, any document explaining and the hardware, software installed system. So, dapat na siya nga kanang, dapat na siya nga imuha nga ma-secure na siya. Kana silang tanan. The information of the user. So, take note. On keyboards, the computer mouse, CDs, or other components, residual, fingerprints, or other physical traces may be preserved. So, if ever computer set na siya, motherboard, na siya keyboard, the system unit, the CPU, so, dapat na siya nga all the other physical traces dapat ma-preserve. Chemical use and processing latent prints may impair equipment and data. Latent prints should be collected after electronic evidence recovery is complete. Documenting the scene. By documentation of the scene, a permanent historical record of the scene is created. Reporting is a continuous operation throughout the investigation. It is important to accurately document the location and condition of the computer storage, media, other electronic devices, and the traditional evidence. It is very important that the documents accurately kanapaganing preserved. Tanan siya nga naa dito sa storage, media, and other electronic devices and traditional evidence. Dapat secured siya. Preserved, secured, protected, record, documented, tanan. The scene should be documented in detail, as I've said a while ago. Initial documentation of the physical scene, A is observed and record the physical scene, such as the position of the cursor and the location of pieces relative to each other. Example given, the mouse on the left side of the computer may indicate the left-handed user. So, dapat should siya nga in detailed. Tanan ni butang, for example, na dere. Location of pieces relative to each other. So, example, if the mouse is on the left side of the computer, so it may indicate nga ang user ato is left-handed. So, muna to siya murag muhatag nimo og clue or hint through your investigation process. Alright. The computer system condition and position, including the computer's power status, if on ba siya in sleep mode. So, parehara na siya sa laptop. Diba? The laptop is naa siya on, off, and then the sleep mode. So it must be documented the condition, the position of the computer system. And then there are the status lights on most computers that's shown that the machine is on. Similarly, the machine is presumably on if fan noise is detected. So, mailhani mo siya, di ba naman na siya fan? So, if that fan, if fan noise is detected, so the machine is presumably on. In addition, if the computer device is warm, it could also mean that it is on or has recently been switched off. So, if the computer device is warm, it could be also mean that kana siya is on siya or recently bago ra siya nga palong. Identify relevant electronic components, and then that will not be collected and document them. These photograph the entire scene as noted by the first responder to create a visual record. Where possible, the complete room should be captured with 360 degree of coverage. So, you must be photograph the entire scene as noted by the first responder to create a visual record. So, dapat siya 360 degrees of coverage ang iyahang nga kuha para kanang mas maayo jud siya. It's because the photograph of the entire scene is very para naa siya mga kanang para maka-create og visual record. And then photograph the front of the computer as well as the screen of the monitor and other items. So dapat imuha siyang picturean ang atubangan sa computer as well as the screen and the monitor and lain nga items. Take written notes on what happens on the display screen and as well. So, dapat imong i-take note if unsalan man ang naa dito sa naunsa man ang iyang display screen. So, dapat imo siya i-take note. Active programs can require video taping or more comprehensive display screen operation documentation. So, evidence collection. So, manata dito. Then napunta sa evidence collection. So, a search warrant may include the search for the collection of evidence at the electronic crime scene. So, the search warrant is kanang pwede siya ma-include if mo search ka o mo collect kong evidence ng particular nga electronic crime scene. So, computer evidence must be treated cautiously. Cautiously ha. So, dapat the computer evidence is imo siyang i-treat as cautiously and in a way that maintains its evidentiary value as all other evidence. This applies not only to the object or device physical integrity, but also the electronic data it holds. Therefore, some kinds of computer proof required special collection, packaging, and transport. Data that may susceptible to damage or alteration from electromagnetic fields such as those produced by static electricity magnets, radio transmitters, and other devices should be considered to be safe. So, dapat, di ba, ni ano ko ganina nga, the electronic evidences is dapat, dapat imo siyang protektahan. The evidences dapat protected siya, dapat ang iyang mga paggamit is dili siya mukha ng mga static electricity, and those imong paggamiton is mga non-magnetic tools. That is why mo siya pinakakuan jud nga mga pag electronic na gani nga evidence ng mga kuhaon. Non-electronic evidence. So unsa naman mga non-electronic evidence? In the prosecution of electronic crime, retrieving non-electronic devices may be critical. So kung critical ang electronic crime scene, so the non-electronic devices may be critical po siya. Proper care should be taken to ensure the recovery and preservation of such evidence. They may be other types of objects appropriate for subsequent review of electronic evidences, example given, written passwords. Diba? So, dapat, imuha siya nga kanang i-ensure jud nimo nga kani siya is proper care jud siya. Ito, imo jud ina-handle with care jud siya. It's because para ma-ensure nimo ang recovery and preservation of such evidence. Written passwords and other written documents, blank indented paper pads, hardware and software manuals, schedules, literature, text or graphic machines, machine prints, kana sila is dapat na sila nga kanang na-handle na nimo. That should be taken care of. And and should be protected and stored for the future analysis. Such items are often in close proximity to the systems or associated hardware objects. In accordance with departmental policies, all proof should be found, protected, and stored. Dili raman siguro sa mo kara kanya, all proof should be found, protected, and stored. Dili lang sa electronic evidence, non-electronic evidence, but sa tanan. Broad na siya, sa tanan na siya nga if ever mo kandak man gani ka, tanan nga proof nga imo nakita is dapat protected siya and well stored. Why? Anong kinahanglan siya nga kuanan? Dapat kung nakakuha na siya diha, okay na. No, it's not. It's because mao na siya mutubag sa tanan ni mga pangutana. Usa na siya sa way, usa na siya sa muhatag sa pag-process nimo, usa na siya sa mga kung sa kuan pa dili mo na siya kung magkuha man gani ka og kanang analysis, dapat na siya. Dapat present na siya. It's because usan na siya sa pinaka-importante. So, dapat it must be protected, preserved, and stored. Well stored. Dili lang sa ani nga sa ni nga ni pag sa mga evidence electronic din sa tanan in a broad na jud siya. Samot na diri sa evidence nga electronic and non-electronic kay crucial man ni siya nga mga ebidensya. It's because ang ato nga gidil diri is electronic man. So tanan nga proof nga naa didto dapat protected siya and stored. Next is standalone and laptop computer evidence. A computer not connected to a network or other computer is a standalone. So, standalone and laptop computer evidence. So, if ang computer is not connected to another network or computer, is mo na siya gitawag og standalone personal computer. Desktop computers or laptops can be standalone. In a single portable device, laptop contains a screen display, keyboard, and mouse. Laptops, in that they can be powered by electricity or battery source, differ from other devices. So, they therefore involve, in addition to standalone power-down procedures, the removal of the battery. Document the current circumstances of the machine is on and call the expert or consultant. So, standalone na laptop computers, ikaw, imong personal. So, if kani siya sa standalone computer, if kani siya is powered, the removal of the battery, dapat documented siya. You must be document the current circumstances. If kana siya is on, and then you need to call the expert or consultant. If there is no expert or consultant available, proceed with the following procedure. So if ikaw lang ni nagkuan. If walay consultant or expert available, you need to proceed. These are the procedure that you will be kanang hibuhaton. So first is all actions you take and any modifications you find resulting from your actions on the display screen, printer, or other peripherals are documented in notes. So tanan nimo i-take note mo na. Unsa imong unang gikuan, i-take note mo na. Observe the monitor and decide whether on or off. It is in sleep mode, then identify which of the following circumstances refers to the situation and follow the steps. So, i-observe nimo whether if it is in on, if it is in off, or if it is in a sleep mode. And then the situation 1. Monitor is on and work product and or desktop is visible. Photograph, screen, and record information displayed. So, for example, on siya. So, your monitor is on. So, dapat imuha siya, tanan nga na dito is imuhang picturean. Picturean nimo ang screen and you record the information kung saan lang kabutang dito sa imong screen. For example, na mga words ito nga makakasabot, imusulat nimo, isulat dito. Situation 2. Monitor is on, screen is blank. Diba na yun na, ngano niya siya, nang open siya, pero on siya, pero ngano niya yung screen is walay kuan. Sleep mode or screensaver picture is visible. Slightly move the mouse without pushing the buttons. So, imuha siyang, ang imuha nga mouse is imuhang i-move. I-move nimo imong mouse. without pushing the button. Siba na yung button ng mouse. Dili rin mo to i-push. Imo ra nga i-move, slightly move the mouse. The screen will adjust and display a work item or request the password. Do not execute any keystrokes or mouse operation if mouse movement does not trigger a change in the screen. So, if wala dili siya naka-trigger sa screen mo, ayaw og execute og pislit ito. It is not dili siya makatabang. And then photograph your computer and record the display detail. Importante is imong picture ang imong computer and record all the display detail nga naa sa imong screen. Wala siya buhaton nimo if ever there is no consultant or expert nga naabot. So mo na siya kuan sa stand-alone computer laptops. Situation 3. Monitors off. Ganina is on to siya. Karon is off. Make a note the status of off. So, sulat ka. Patapot nimo off. Off ni. The computer is off. Switch on the monitor. Then decide if the monitor status in either situation 1 or 2 above is stated and follow those steps. Remove the power source cable from the monitor. Not from the wall, socket, regardless of the power state of the computer. So, imuhang kung ano itong power source cable from the monitor. Imong ikwaon, remove. And then, when dealing with the laptop, remove the battery pack. Diba na ba na battery pack ang laptop? You need to remove the battery pack. In addition to removing the power cord, the battery is removed to prevent the device from having the power. Diba kay off man imong computer. So, the purpose of the removing the battery pack is to prevent the device from having any power. In lieu of a fluffy the drive or CD drive, some laptops have the second battery in the multi-purpose bay. Check for this possibility and remove that battery as well. So, naman na siya kanang sa mga ang uban nga laptops or some of laptops nga nasa lang mga second battery in the multi-purpose bay. So, dapat i-check ni muna and then remove that battery as well. Okay, and then check for connectivity outside. Example given: telephone modem, cable, ISDN, DSL. Try to locate the telephone number if a telephone connection is present. So, you need to check your connectivity outside. So, you need i-locate nimo if the telephone number, the connection is present. Remove any floppy disks that are present. Package the disk separately. So, imuhang i-remove ang floppy disk sa imuhang nga laptop. If na siya, i-remove nimo. And then, imuha siyang i-separate. Unmark the package to prevent harm to possible evidence. So, di rin na nato magamit ang ato nga stick-on notes. Dito na nato magamit na to. Kani siya, i-marka na to ni siya para to prevent harm to possible evidence. Insert either a seizure or a blank floppy disk if appropriate. Do not uninstall CDs or touch the drive on the CDs. Put tape all over the slot of the drive and other power connector. So, dapat, imuha siya nga kanang butangan og tape tanan nga slot sa drive over the power connector. Make a record, model, and serial number. So, pag manan nimo na, butangan nimo na record dito, model, ang sala ni siya nga model. Serial number, naman na nakabutan dito sa imuha nga, for example, kanang sa system unit yan kanang sa system unit, na nakabutan dito, serial number, nabutan nakabito. So, imuha na siya nga i-put onto record. Photograph and diagram the contact and related cables of the device. Mark all connectors and cable ends, including peripheral system connections, in order to enable precise and reassembly at the later time. Unused communication ports as unused in attempt to classify other storage media. Identify laptop computers, docking stations, according to the parental procedures, record or log facts. Package the components as fragile cargo transport is necessary. So, dire is kanang imuha na siyang i-package siya nimo. So, kato siya is fragile man to siya. So, dapat nakabutang na siya dito, di ba na dito? kani siya, pag makita na sila sa cargo transport gani, fragile, ila dyan ang pingan. So, it must be protected. Tanan nga koan. Packaging, transportation, and storage. Diba, humanata sa procedure kung saan if on ba siya, off ba siya, na sleep mode ba, imo hanga standalone nga kuan, o kung if without a consultant, ikaw ni mo kuan. Humani mo siya, hindi rin mo. Packaging, transportation, and storage. So, data stored in a device on other medium should not be added. Dapat wala siya na puno, nailisan, or nawala by actions taken computer are susceptible to temperature, humidity, physical shock, static electricity, and magnetic sources, and are fragile electronic instruments. Therefore, when packaging, shipping, and storing electronic data, special precautions should be taken. So, as stated there, as I've read, dapat siya nga wala siya na usog, na lost by actions ba siya, or the computers are susceptible to temperature, humidity, dapat dali na nimo magamit imong storage box to preserve, to protect the evidence nga natin sa sulod when it comes to packaging or when it comes to kanang sa transportation na. So, ensure that the inappropriate protocols for packaging, you need to ensure that the appropriate protocols for the packaging, transport, and storage of electronic evidence are followed to prevent data modification, loss, physical harm, or destruction. So, dapat i-ensure nimo nga kanang imong evidence nga nakasulod dito is dili siya ma-harm or ma-guba. Next is the packaging procedure. So, ensure that all electronic data obtained is correctly registered, labeled, inventorized prior to packaging. So, nganong kinahanglan ba man registered, label, nganong inventorized prior to packaging? You are dealing with evidence. You must bear in mind, put in mind that in packaging of all the evidences dapat correctly registered, labeled, basta mo transport siya, basta i-transport nimo, correctly registered, naka-labeled siya, tanan nimo nga kanang naka-package. Pay careful attention to latent or trace proof and take steps to maintain it. In anti-static packaging bags, magnetic media paper, or anti-static plastic bags, stop the use of materials such as regular plastic bags that can generate static electricity. So, mao ganitong nakoy gibutang dito mga specific nga gamito nimo para dili siya maka-generate og static electricity. So, dili ka pwede mo kanang mga regular plastic bags. Dili nimo na siya pwede gamiton kay pwede na siya mo kanang static electricity. So, ang gikon is anti-static plastic bags. Stop folding computer media, bending, or scratching them. So, di siya nimo pwede pick on, di siya pwede mapilo, or sa scratch pa nimo. Ensure proper labeling of all containers used to store proof. Ang dirajud is kanang sa packaging is ensure the proper label, and then dapat correct, dapat tanan nga details kina dito, then naka-label po na siya dito, tanan, na siya diri. For security of the evidences, dapat protected siya. So, note, when collecting multiple computer systems, mark each system so that it can be reassembled as found. Example given, system A mouse, keyboard, monitor, main base unit, system B mouse, keyboard, monitor, main base unit. Ano siya? Dapat i-mark nimo siya para ma-reassemble if nakitan siya. Transportation procedures. Sa mana mata sa packaging no, so dapat ensure nimo labeled tanan. Transportation. Keep magnetic sources away from the electronic data. That is why balik-balik ko na ako, there is a specific nga gamito nimo para sa imuha nga packaging. Kay makana nang sa pagpack nimo, dili ra mo gani, sige ra bala na pack na bitaw no, it's not. It's because kana siya is mo transport pa na nimo. So in transportation dapat pud siya dili siya makuan into the static electricity. So You must keep the magnetic sources away from electronic data. Examples of objectives that can destroy electronic evidence are radio transmitters, speakers, magnets, and headsets. For lengthy periods of time, stop storing electronic evidence in vehicles. Electronic data may be impaired by conditions of extreme heat, cold, or humidity. Ana siya dapat ampingan ang evidence, electronic evidence. Kaya naman, if madugayan siya, if a length of period of time, mataas nga kaning ang sani nga time. So dapat dili siya kanang ang imong electronic device dili siya ma-stored madugayan sa, for example, sa vehicle. It's because electronic data may be impaired in conditions extreme heat, cold, or humidity. Dili dapat siya dili siya mabugnawan, dili siya mainitan kaayo, dili po siya moist kaayo rapod. That is why it must be protected. It's because if masayop lang gani, naala gani na siya yung mga kondya, bye-bye evidence. Dili na siya, walay gamit ang imuhang pag-process, pag-correct sa transportation pa lang. Sa transportation procedure, nakadili na ka makasunod. To prevent shock and unnecessary movement, ensure that the computers and other components which are packaged in containers are secured in the car. Computers can, for example, be positioned in the vehicle be positioned on the vehicle floor, and monitors may be placed with their screen down and the seat protected by the seat belt. Maintain the custody chain of all transported evidence. So, inanakapalang ebidensya. Dapat nakaposisyon sa vehicle floor, and the monitors may be placed with the screen down and the seat and protected by the seat belt. It must be. And maintain the custody chain of all transported evidence. So, dapat na ay custody chain. So, dapat pasunod siya. And then, storage procedure. Ensure that the proof is stored in compliance with departmental policies. In a safe area away from extreme of temperature and humidity, store proof. Shield it from moisture, dust, and other harmful particles and pollutants from magnetic sources. Sa storage procedure, dapat safe gid siya. Inampingan sa tanan nga inampingan to avoid harm sa imuhang evidence. To stored proof. Dapat dili siya moisture sa mga abog and other harmful particles and pollutants from the magnetic sources. And then, note, when collecting multiple computers systems, mark each so that it can be reassembled found. So, ano na siya? So, transportation procedure. To prevent shock, yes, as I've said a while ago, nga kanisya is para maintain custody chain and the transportation evidence. Storage procedure. Diba, dere? Note, be mindful as result of prolonged storage, possible evidence such as dates, times, and device configurations can be lost. Mo na siya yung murag i-bear in mind mo in the storage procedure. If ka na siya moist na siya, madugin na siya sa sakinan tungod sa extreme heat, sa cold, tanan mo nga evidence mo wala. The date, time, device configurations can be lost. As batteries have a limited life, if they fail, data may lost. Inguna na lang siya. So, dapat, dili siya kanang palangay-langay. Dili lang pa chill-chill, dili lang siya. Bisag asa rin butang. It must be stored. It must be protected for the preservation. Reasonable staff, example, evidence custodian, laboratory chief, forensic examiner should also be told that the battery-powered system is need of urgent attention. So, dapat po sila nakabalo sila na ang the power system is need an urgent attention. Para dili na po sila kanabaganing mo rin. Kuan ra po, dapat kabalo sila. Handling digital evidence is volatile and fragile, and it can be modified by the incorrect handling of the evidence. Protocols need to be observed because if it is instability and fragility to ensure that the data isn't altered during the handling. When handling digital proof, these guidelines outline the steps should be taken. So handling digital evidence is volatile and fragile. So it can be modified in incorrect handling of evidence. So dapat siya nga kanang ampingan gyud. Yes, mo ra na ampingan, preserve, na stored siya, well stored siya, and then maayo siya nga pagka-package, the transportation, the storage procedure. 4 phases in the initial handling of digital evidence: identification, collection, acquisition, and the preservation. So, identification. Identification phase, preliminary knowledge of the cybercrime case is collected before collecting digital data. This preliminary information is the same as that requested during a typical criminal investigation. The investigator seeks to answer the questions below. Who was involved? Kinsa may involved? What happened? Unsa may hinahitabo? When did the cybercrime occur? Asa nahita? Kanus aman? Where did the cybercrime occur? Asa man nahitabo ang cybercrime? How did the cybercrime occur? Ngano man ni siyang nahitabo? Maorag na siya kwan, iba ganing 5 W's and 1 H. Who, what, when, where, how. For example, sa murder, kinsa man ipatay? Giunsa man? Kanus aman? Asa man? Giunsa man? So, dire magamit nimo dire sa imong nga investigation, sa criminal investigation nimo. Kinsa may involve ani nga crime, cybercrime? Unsa man ni siya? Na unsa man ni nahitabo? Kanus aman? Asa nahitabo ang cybercrime? O giunsa man nila? Kani siya tanan nga answer niya sa question, mo provide ni siya sa investigator of guidance on how to proceed with the case. Mo ni siya kanang pangutana nga mo guide usa ni siya sa mga ugat nga mo guide sa investigator on how to proceed with the case. So I hope that you kanang nakagain mo knowledge sa ako nga video reporting, and thank you so much for listening. And lastly, thank you so much, Sir Reclete. Thank you, sir. That would be all. Thank you.